President Trump is promising to ease pressure at the pump as the conflict in Iran drives oil prices higher. The president says he will take action imminently. Take a look at this graph. Oil is now more expensive than at any point in Trump's second term. But the White House has repeatedly said that this is a short-term spike for a long-term gain. Here is what Energy Secretary Chris Wright told Fox and Friends about when Americans can expect to see some relief.
Yeah, I think it's of order weeks. I would say in the worst case, but it's weeks, not months. And look, Iran has been an escalator of energy prices 47 years, the whole history of their regime. We've got a little bit of an interruption right now to finally put an end to their ability to wreak havoc, to kill Americans and to terrorize their neighbors.
And Charles, it is about this long-term recalibration. And an example I want to give of that is Venezuela. And what we've seen there is that Venezuela has generated $2 billion in transactions in just weeks. They have the largest proven crude reserve in the world, 303 barrels. So reshaping this global economy is what they're looking to do.
Yeah, without a doubt. Oil is fungible. So, this happened years ago. It would be much more devastating in terms. Right now, we only get 2% of oil from that region. This actually has a bigger economic impact on China. But people right now, all the economic signs are phenomenal. We have some data out that really shows that this could be a boom year. We don't want to have this oil spike derail all of that. So the key is going to be the Strait of Hormuz, right? And Iran's not shooting down or sinking ships there. It was first and foremost, this is an insurance issue. Lloyd's of London said we're not going to insure anyone. If we do, we'll jack up your rates 500%. Then the other insurer said, OK, we'll do the same. So it's going to take about a week or so before we can maybe get an alternative insurance plan together and also have some physical military assets there. We start getting ships moving through the Strait of Hormuz, the price of oil will come down quickly. I'm talking like precipitously back into the 60s and eventually even in the 50s.
Yeah, and that's exactly, Tommy, what Iran's seeking to do. They're trying to inflict pain on the American economy so they can wait this out.
This president understands that dealing with Iran was something that previous administration just wanted to kick the can down the road. It was going to have to be dealt with eventually. This president knows that he's uniquely positioned to deal with it in the best way possible, and he's doing just that. But this president is also focused on American energy independence. So he's already laid the groundwork for that, whether it be Venezuela, but more importantly, here at home, saying we're going to unleash American energy. We're going to make sure that we have reliable fossil fuels, nuclear energy, everything that we need here at home so that we are less dependent on what's going on in other parts of the world. Yes, we're still going to be dependent for a time, but this president is doing everything right in terms of making sure that we have some stability here at home to weather these storms. He's dealing with it head on, whereas other presidents, other administrations, they would prefer to kick the can down the road, let somebody else deal with it. This president is not that kind of guy. He's going to deal with it now.
And Molly, to that end, seeking to ensure domestic supply, we have seen that pay dividends. This is liquid natural gas, and you see that the costs that have risen since Monday in Europe, 70%, Asia, 68%, the U.S., 5%. So these investments in the U.S. economy are paying dividends.
Yeah, and it's fascinating. Charles, I think you raised the issue of China. And now the president is saying, hey, China, why don't you buy a little bit more from us? That may be the answer for a time being to keep things on a scale. Now, the question is what that means, what the trade that China wants. That may go back to, the issue of Taiwan as we get down the road, that may be where they put the pressure on. Of course, the president planning to meet with Xi in the coming weeks. That's around the corner as well. So all of that's playing out. And the Strait of Hormuz, which we've talked about, the hopes that this is temporary. And one of the big concerns with the Strait is preventing the laying down of the bombs. We know that Iran has the technology to do that, but yet this multitude of battleships, their Navy, has been impacted dramatically. So there's a lot of things at play right now that are affecting the oil prices, a lot of dominoes that seem to have prevented things potentially from getting worse. But all of those things added up together, I think we'll see in the next couple of weeks how it all plays out. If the things that were anticipated and then ran down, like the striking of the Navy ships, the preventing of those issues, all come out to stability in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Lisa.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's so many moving parts right now and so many different variables. I mean, we can see how, an enemy nation like China has been impacted, who has benefited from that oil from sanctioned producers like Venezuela and Iran. But I talked to an economist friend of mine today, and he was pointing out how this has really benefited Russia. at least in the short term. And you've got Putin out recently saying, maybe we'll just cut off gas supply to some of these European markets and take our business elsewhere. Obviously, one of the world's largest oil and gas exporters. So they're going to make more money right now, which is complicated as President Trump is also trying to solve this war in Europe between Russia and Ukraine. So look, a lot of moving parts. The whole scenario could look different a week from now. So we're living in the now and trying to decipher what this information means in real time.
Yeah.
That dovetails, by the way, what Tommy said. It wasn't just presidents here who were looking the other way and kicking the can. The Europeans had their heads in the sand. President Trump kicking them in the behind and says, you must build your defenses up. You must be able to have some muscle in this game because everyone's taking advantage of you. And that's why they're victimized by Russia anytime these prices go up.
Yeah, like saying, hey, NATO, pay more.
Exactly.
By the way, it's for you, not for us.
Oh, yeah.
Well said. Exactly.
Hey, everyone. I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.